I'm a sad man right now. Really sad. And you probably can figure out why. But, yeah, Charlotte, it should have gone a lot better for us Chase Elliott fans than it did. But, of course, Kyle Busch had to be behind us and he had to spin us around. I hate that guy. No, I'm just kidding. I'm being a little violent. I'm just kind of joking around. He had nothing. There was nothing Kyle Busch could have done to avoid that. Coming on a restart and everybody's just bunching up. The guy we really should be mad at is Austin Dillon. But anyways, we're here for episode number 2 of the Napa Fam Talks NASCAR podcast here on October 11th, 2016. And we got ourselves a lot to talk about. A very interesting Sunday at Charlotte where we had both the Sprint Cup Series and the Xfinity Series race on the same day. And one was an elimination race, the Xfinity Series was, and then the Cup Series was also very interesting, and it might have been an elimination race for a couple of guys as well. But of course, just the first race in the round, and I think all 4 of those guys who had problems, actually all 5 who had problems, could still get into the top 8 and advance on. But we'll talk about that. We'll talk about the Xfinity Series, and we got a lot to cover here on this Tuesday. I hope you all had a great Columbus Day. Some of you might have gotten off, but maybe not all of you. I really don't know. I got off, but I still did school anyway. That's just kind of the guy I am, I do school, even if I'm not supposed to. But anyways, we're going to go ahead and start off with the Cup Series, then we'll go into the Xfinity Series and end the podcast back on the Sprint Cup Series. So, it was the Bank of America 500, and Jimmy Johnson just flat out dominated that race. And to be honest, I was really glad to see that. I particularly did not want to see Toyota win. I wanted to see Hendrick Motorsports finally get a win. It's been way too long, and I was really glad to see Jimmy Johnson get the win. He is on to the round of 8. That is the farthest he has ever gone in any chase so far. He's always been eliminated before the round of 8. Got eliminated in the round of 12 in 2014. He got eliminated in the round of 16 last year, but this year he's still going strong, and that 48 team is really showing a lot of strength here in the chase. They're doing a lot better than I think they've had in past years, and I think Jimmy Johnson might have a good shot at getting championship number 7. Other chase drivers getting good days were Matt Kenseth, Kyle Busch, Brad Keselowski, Kurt Busch, and even Carl Edwards and Martin Truex Jr. are all pretty good. Truex is 7th in the standings, and he is 19 points ahead of the cutoff mark. 19. That is a lot of points to be ahead. However, for the other 5 guys, it didn't really go too well for Charlotte, and we'll kind of go into what happened to each of these guys. So it was kind of relatively, I forget what lap, kind of midway through the race, probably the best lap of the race, because these are my 2 least favorite drivers, both having problems on the same lap. Kevin Harvick, I'm pretty sure, had an electrical issue on his machine, and he is now 8 points off the cutoff mark. But he's been in this kind of situation before. I mean, even in the round of 16. In this year's chase, if he didn't have that win at New Hampshire, he would not be in this round, as far as I know, because of that problem he had at Dover. But because he had that win in New Hampshire, here he is in the round of 12, but he starts off the round of 12 with a big problem, and he's 8 points behind. And on that same lap, when they were showing that the caution came out, and Joey Logano blew a tire, went up into the wall, and I was literally jumping for joy in my room. I was just like so happy, because, I understand if you like Kevin Harvick. I really don't understand if you like Joey Logano, but, I'm going to respect that. But still, those are my 2 least favorite drivers in the Sprint Cup Series, and they both had problems on the first, or not on the first lap, what am I saying? On the first or second, I think it might have been the second caution of the race, and might have been the third, actually. I can't quite remember, but still, they both had problems on the same lap, and I was, like, so happy because of that. And I'm kind of glad that they're out of the top 8 right now. But they'll find a way back in, trust me. I expect both Joey Logano and Kevin Harvick moving their way back into the top 8 before this round is over. But hey, you never know. I mean, we got Talladega coming up. Anything can happen there. But anyways, both of those guys had problems, and then came the absolute worst moment of the race, because like I said, the Kevin Harvick and Joey Logano incidents, those are the best moments for me at least, because I don't like either one of them. But the worst moment, and you know exactly what that is when Austin Dillon decided to take 2 tires because, hey, you know what, I'm going to gain some track position. Well, didn't really work out too well for him, didn't really work out too well for my man Chase Elliott, and both of them had hard crashes in that big crash there when they were coming to a restart with about, I say, 70 some laps to go, I think. Austin Dillon spun his tires on the inside lane. Martin Truex was right behind him. Truex spun him around, and while everybody behind him was trying to slow down, Kyle Busch kind of ran into Chase Elliott, and around that 24 went into the outside wall, and I was devastated. But I guess that's what I get for taking a picture of Kevin Harvick and drawing sunglasses and a beard on him. I'm very sorry to Kevin Harvick fans. I'm not trying to be disrespectful to your driver, but I really don't like Kevin Harvick. So yeah, I mean, you know, hey, I'm paying the price. You know, Chase Elliott fell outside the top 8, and I would like to apologize to all Kevin Harvick fans out there. If you want to see a picture of it, let me know. I'll upload it. But anyways, um, I'm a weird person, just to let you know. Anyways, Chase Elliott, definitely the bigger story here than Austin Dillon. Austin Dillon just kind of got up there because of strategy, and he was going to be outside the top 8 anyway if this didn't happen. But Chase Elliott, he led about 108 laps, I think, somewhere around there. I mean, I don't really, you know, write these down or anything like that. I really don't know how many laps he did actually lead in the race, but he led over 100, and he was doing a great job. And if that crash didn't happen, he might have even won the race for all I know. But he was doing such a great job in that race. Both him and Jimmy Johnson were. Both of those Hendrick guys were two of the most dominant drivers of the race. But Chase Elliott unfortunately caught up in the crash, and you remember what happened in the pit stops before that. And kind of slowed himself down, and he wanted, I think, maybe the outside lane. I really don't know what he was trying to do, but he started on the inside lane, and that was right behind Austin Dillon, and it just did not work out too well for him. Just think if Chase Elliott got off the pit lane 4th, that wouldn't have happened, but hey, you know what, that's just the way it is, and like I said, that's what I get for making fun of Kevin Harvick, and I really got to apologize for that. I mean, I don't think many of us are Harvick fans. I know hardly any of us are Logano fans. I can make fun of him as much as I want and not have to apologize for him. But Kevin Harvick, I understand there are some people that like him, so I apologize for, you know, doing that, for making fun of him. But hey, you know what? It's just NASCAR. It's friendly making fun of him, you know. As a human being, you know, you gotta respect him. But as a race car driver, I really don't like him that much. Just think of it that way. Anyways, of course, Jimmy Johnson got the victory, and he had hardly any trouble getting it. Kenseth did beat him off the pit lane on the final set of pit stops, but that was no match for the 48 at Jimmy Johnson, who would pretty much dominate at Charlotte, a place where he used to dominate a lot back when it was the Lowe's Motor Speedway, getting the victory. And he's on to the round of 8 in the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series chase, so it's really good to see that. I mean, I used to not like Jimmy Johnson, but with this Toyota dominance, I've really come to like Hendrick Motorsports a lot more, and I like seeing Jimmy Johnson win now. Of course, then again, my favorite driver is Chase Elliott. He's his teammate. I gotta like all my teammates. I really wish Alex Bowman did something on Sunday. I really wish that happened. Alex Bowman was running up front, and I didn't see it. I was like eating dinner or something like that, and he had some sort of issue, crash with Casey Mears. I don't know if he blew a tire or what, but if that did not happen, he would have had a great day. And Alex Bowman, it would have been nice to see. Just think, if Alex Bowman won that race, he might get a ride next year. But who knows what's going to happen with him now. I mean, I kind of hate it that he really doesn't have a set ride, but we're just going to have to see what 2017 brings for him. Hope to see him in a ride somewhere. But anyways, on to the NASCAR Xfinity Series, and we're not really going to talk about the race because it was bushwhacked and Joey Logano won the race, and I don't think any of us really like that. You know what, I don't even know if NASCAR's uploaded the finish for that yet. They might not. They did not. Interesting thing here, when they had the Chicagoland truck race, when Kyle Busch won it, they did not upload the finish of that race. And I think they finally figured out that we do not really like Kyle Busch and Joey Logano going into those other series and winning all the time. We just don't enjoy it. But anyways, we're going to talk about the chase and who made it in and who didn't. And of course, Daniel Suarez and Elliott Sadler made it in. They already had wins. They were locked on. Justin Allgaier, he did a great job, and he's on to the round of 8. But Eric Jones, and this isn't really a surprise per se, but Eric Jones, remember, he was outside the top 8 coming into this race here at Charlotte, and he was able to easily get himself into the top 8 and advance on to the round of 8 in the Xfinity Series chase. Brendan Gaughan also advances here, and this is kind of a surprising thing because I don't believe Gaughan really had many points heading into the chase. He really wasn't one of the stronger competitors. Really haven't seen him run up front at all, but he made it on. I mean, let's put it this way. Those top 4, I was not really surprised by those guys making it on. But the bottom 4 here, Brendan Gaughan, Ryan Reed, Darrell Wallace Jr., and this one, I love this one, Blake Cook in the number 11, advanced on in the round of 8. And that's awesome. But interesting thing here, remember what I said last week, I thought that one of the Roush guys was going to get knocked out. But I was wrong. Both Ryan Reed and Darrell Wallace Jr. advanced on to the round of 8, and who knows? They may find their way into the Final 4. But to be honest, I think the Final 4 is going to be Suarez, Sadler, Allgaier, and Jones. I don't know who's going to win the championship. It's really hard to predict that. But right now, I'm going to say it's Suarez, Sadler, Allgaier, and Jones are going to be the top 4, Final 4 for the Xfinity Series finale. But anyways, the 4 guys, I should say, unfortunately getting knocked out in this one include Brandon Jones. He really did not do anything at all during the chase, and it's kind of hard to see that, but he was never a factor in any way, and he's out. Ryan Sieg is kind of like the Chris Buescher of the Xfinity Series chase here. Really didn't expect him to do that much because he is with an underfunded team, but still good to see him in the chase, and it would have been really good to see him advance on like Blake Cook did, but sometimes it just doesn't happen, and the 39 just did not catch the best breaks in the round of 12 in the Xfinity Series, so Ryan Sieg does not advance on. Brendan Poole, and he's a guy I actually didn't even mention last week, and I totally forgot that he was actually in the chase, but yeah, Brendan Poole, just the same thing, I think, with Sieg and Jones. He really isn't that good. I mean, he's still good, but he isn't that good, and I didn't expect him to advance on to the next round, and he didn't. But I think the bigger one here is Ty Dillon getting knocked out. And not to say that Ty Dillon is really that good, but I definitely expected him to be good enough to advance on to the next round. I mean, he races for Childress. His brother Austin wins a lot in the Xfinity Series, and I really thought that Ty Dillon, would find his way in. But turns out that he didn't, and he's out in number 3. And I just got an alert on my phone saying that Jimmy Johnson snaps his 24-race winless streak and boosts hopes for 7th championship at Charlotte. That happened I'm recording this Sunday night, so that happened 4 hours ago? That's how much ESPN cares about NASCAR, am I right? Anyways, back to the Cup side. I'm going to kind of give some predictions for Kansas here in the Cup side. I might give some predictions for Kansas in the Xfinity Series, but anyways, I expect Chase Elliott to do good at Kansas. I really follow him a lot, and you know why, but I expect Chase Elliott to do something good at Kansas. I think he's going to possibly move his way into the top 8 in points, but he might not find his way out. We're just going to have to see. But I expect Chase Elliott to do good things at Kansas. These mile-and-a-half racetracks really suit his style. He really does good on these mile-and-a-half tracks. Remember, he almost won at Chicagoland. He could have won at Charlotte if he did not get caught up in that wreck. And Kansas is a lot like Chicagoland and Charlotte, those mile-and-a-half cookie-cutter racetracks. As much as I used to hate him, kind of don't hate him anymore because Chase Elliott does good at them, But anyways, he is 3 points behind, and so is Dillon. I don't think Dillon's going to get enough. I really think Dillon's going to get knocked out in this round, but we're just going to have to see. But at Kansas, Jimmy Johnson's already won, and I think he's got a lot of momentum coming into Kansas, and I think he has a great shot at winning next Sunday. But I think a Gibbs guy is going to find a way to win. Kyle Busch, I do believe, won Kansas back in the spring, and it might not necessarily be Kyle Busch. it could be Truex. I mean, Truex has been one of the more dominant guys in the chase, and I mean, we're just going to have to see. It's hard to predict an individual race like this because I'm looking at it here, and I see every single one of these guys except for maybe Dylan and Kurt Busch winning at Kansas. I really do. But if I really had to pick, I actually honestly think Jimmy Johnson would win at Kansas. He's got the momentum coming off of Charlotte, and I really think he's going to have an opportunity at getting his second win. Remember, Logano swept these 3 races last year. I don't know if Jimmy Johnson's going to have a chance of winning at Talladega. That's always a crazy race, and Logano just kind of got lucky there. But I think Jimmy Johnson, he's going to have a shot at winning at Kansas, and he might possibly get his 4th win of the season. So I'm going to go with Jimmy Johnson winning at Kansas. I think he's going to win that race. When it comes to the Xfinity Series, I'm not really going to predict who's going to win. I'm going to predict who the highest Xfinity regular is going to be, because if Kyle Busch or Joey Logano's winning in that or racing in that race, you know one of those guys are going to definitely win it. But anyways, it's going to be one of those top 4. I think it's either going to be Suarez or Jones is going to be the highest driver, and it's really hard to go against Jones here in the Xfinity Series because he's got the Gibbs power, for one thing. That's a big thing. And he easily found his way into the top 8 in points to get into the next round of the chase. He's got a lot of momentum. He won at Chicagoland. I mean, I do believe that race was bushwhacked by Kyle Busch and all that. He beat those guys. I think Kyle Busch had a problem in that race, but still, Erik Jones won at Chicagoland, and kind of like Chase Elliott, how Elliott almost won at Chicagoland, I think Erik Jones might almost win at Kansas because, you know, Kansas and Chicagoland are very similar racetracks. The only thing different is Chicagoland's backstretch is curved, and Kansas is straight. But that doesn't really make much of a difference. But I really do think Erik Jones is going to have the best shot at winning at Kansas. I mean, I really think Erik Jones is going to make it into the Final Four, and I think Suarez will. I think Elliott Sadler will. I think the championship is going to be between Erik Jones and Elliott Sadler. Sadler has been really good this season. He's got 3 wins. He won at Talladega when Brennan Poole should have won. He won at Darlington, which was kind of neat to see, and he also won at Kentucky. He's got this thing down, and I really think he's going to have a good shot at winning this championship. We're just going to have to see, though. Erik Jones, I think that's the biggest threat for Erik Jones. I don't think Suarez has just enough. I mean, Suarez could win this championship. Suarez is good enough to win this championship. But Erik Jones just has the edge, I think. We're just going to have to see. I think they're pretty much even when you really think about it. Erik Jones might have won more races this season, but I think Suarez is a little bit more consistent than Erik Jones, and I think that might be an advantage to Suarez heading into the Final Four. And then you got dark horses like Justin Allgaier, Brendan Gaughan. I mean, I don't think Gaughan's going to do anything, and I really don't think the Roush guys are going to do anything, or Blake Cook. I mean, Blake Cook is so cool and all, that I really don't think he's going to do much in this round, especially now that the competitive level has stepped up a little bit. But Justin Allgaier is kind of the dark horse for this championship, in my opinion. He hasn't won a race yet this season, but he's driving for Junior Motorsports. They got solid cars. They got solid equipment. They could possibly, I think they might find their way into the Final Four, and who knows? In that Final Four race, anything can happen. Anything at all. The Gibbs guys could have problems. Sadler could blow a tire, and Allgaier's out there with nobody to race with for the championship. He could steal it. That's a flaw, in my opinion, of this system. I personally don't like it, and if you watch my Enter 2003 races, that's why I did not include the chase for my version of the Xfinity Series, the Turkey Hill Series, because it's just too much, you know, you can't have one race determine the champion. I mean, that's just the way it is, so we got to go with it here in the Xfinity Series, but I really do not like that, and it's just, it's unfair to some guys. I mean, you got to think, Suarez was like top of the game in the points most of the season as far as I know, and Erik Jones as well. I mean, you got to think, the old system fits Erik Jones and Daniel Suarez very well. They're consistent drivers. With this chase format, who knows, you can end up with Ryan Reed winning the championship, and that's, in my opinion, that just kind of messed up. Ryan Reed, you know, he's an awesome guy, I think. I don't know if a lot of people really like him because of the incident with Ryan Sieg at Pocono, but still, Ryan Reed, you know, he's awesome, you know, I guess. but he drives for Roush for one thing. And to be honest, he really isn't that good of a driver. I mean, the only reason why he has a ride is because of his sponsorship, and I kind of don't like drivers like that. I mean, Ryan Reed has some talent, and he actually has been getting a little bit better the past few races, but the thing is, with this system, you can have somebody like Ryan Reed winning the championship who obviously did not perform to the level of a champion this season. And I think we can all agree that this chase format, I mean, you got to look at other sports like the NFL, you know. You can have an 8-8 team in the playoffs, and then you have a 10-2 team, or what am I saying? Not 10-2, like a 14-2 team in the playoffs, and the 8-8 team goes to the Super Bowl and wins it. I mean, if, you know, and the NFL was like NASCAR, the way NASCAR used to be, that 14-2 team would easily be the champion. But that 8-8 team beat them in the playoffs, and they went on and win. And that's what I think NASCAR was trying to do with this system, was not necessarily be a consistent championship where whoever has the most points at the end of the season wins it, but make it a lot like other sports where there are playoffs. So if you're good enough, you go to the playoffs. I like the Truck Series because there aren't too many teams in the playoffs, but I do not like the fact that there are 4 in the final race. If there were 2 in the final race, I think that would be okay. If it was just 2 guys battling for it in the final race, I think that would be a little bit more fair. But 4 is almost too much, in my opinion. I don't know. I feel like determining the whole championship on one race just isn't enough. It's just not fair enough, in my opinion. But hey, have your own opinions. It's exciting, trust me. And that's what NASCAR was trying to do when they implemented this system into the Cup Series in 2014. And it's fun. It's especially fun for Enter 2003. But like I said, I didn't do it for my, Xfinity Series because I didn't want that. I want to have a good mixture of, chase and, just regular points championships. For my Chick-fil-A Cup Series, I like the chase. I love the chase a lot. It works very well for that. But I really was not going to like this. And two, I'm going to go, this is kind of going off on a tangent here. But I would have to modify the schedule and modify the way the chases run for the Turkey Hill Series if I were to do the chase. It was definitely going to be a little too complicated, and I just didn't want to do that. So, hey, I hope you like the Turkey Hill Series the way it is, but I'm not changing the Cup Series. The Cup Series will remain with this chase format, and you might not like it, but it's fun. It's entertaining, and that's what NASCAR is trying to do. They're trying to make it entertaining without making Junior win every race. So yeah. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this week's podcast, and I really gave a lot of insight of how I feel about this chase format. I really did. I hope you guys enjoyed that insight there. And we've gone long enough, gone 5 more minutes than last week, so I think it's time to end this one. Jimmy Johnson's on to the round of 8 in the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series, and the round of 8 in the NASCAR Xfinity Series begins at Kansas on Saturday, just to let you guys know. So yeah, thank you guys very much for watching. Next week I'm going to go over what happened at Kansas. Maybe we'll get another Kenseth Logano incident, who knows. But we're starting to get into that time of season where tempers can flare, and you never know when something could happen. Anyways, thank you guys very much for watching, and I hope you stick around next week for the Napa Fam Talks NASCAR podcast episode number 3. I will see you guys later.